councillors and staff members, members of the public who are here, and any members of the public who are streaming in. Given I just had a couple of questions from in the foyer and from the floor just prior to this meeting in regards to Beach Road, the Beach Road agenda item will not be on this agenda. The closing for submission closed today. This obviously allows time for the staff to prepare that report. So we won't be dealing with that item until the next council meeting, which will be in 4 weeks' time. I'll have a date on that. So you got that for me, Sia? 18th, sounds like.
What's happening on the
Sorry, Bill. We can't. This briefing that we're in now is a briefing for next week's agenda. So the agenda that's in front of us right now is what we'll be discussing next week on the 28th. And we include those items and nothing else. Thank you. Sorry, there may be one late item, but it's not to do with Beach Road. That'll be dealing with the CEO KPIs, which will be coming as a late item, so I'll tell one bit there. Okay, so this is a briefing session. As we are aware, we are a bit short-handed tonight, but thank you for joining us online for Councillor Quain and Councillor Gassop. I'm assuming you're able to fix that. You can hear me, Councillor Gassop? Thank you. And Councillor Quain, you can hear me? I might just test so I can hear you guys. Are you happy just to that? Thanks, Councillor Quain. Councillor Gassop? Just test your audio.
Yes, can you hear me?
Perfect, yeah, thank you. Thanks, Councillor. So I can see you both in front of my screen. So as we work through the agenda, obviously it's question times tonight. So if there's any questions on any of those items, feel free to raise your hand and we'll get to that. Councillor Quain, Councillor Quain has joined us. Councillor Deputy Mayor Smith has an apology. Councillor Brown is on leave and Councillor Broad is on leave. And they should all be back at some stage. Okay. Okay. We are, before we go through the meeting, I've received one declaration of interest, which is Declaration 10.3.2 from Dr. Councillor Ramesh, and that is just a impartial interest, Councillor Ramesh? Yeah, sure. Just take that one. So impartial interest. So Councillor Ramesh will stay in the room for that particular item. Is there any other declaration of interest? No. Thank you. We'll work our way through that. And I did also know our Manager of Governance is here. So welcome to our Acting Manager, Maureen. Thank you. Right. Working our way through the agenda for this evening. So we're moving to item 10.1.1, so there's a couple of items here coming through the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. This is the terms of reference, where there were some revised terms. Any questions on this? No. Councillor Gassop? Just on mute there still, Councillor Gassop.
I am having trouble downloading the appendices. Can I just please have some sort of definition about risk and whether it does cover things like occupational health and safety?
CEO, do you have a response for that?
So, Mayor, we have an organisational risk register and strategic risks and operational risks, and WHS is certainly a risk that's included in that.
Thank you, CEO. Thank you, Councillor Gassop. Thank you. Any other questions on this one? Thank you. 10.1.2 is the asset management plans, which also come through ARIC. Is there any questions on this? Is a large body of work that has gone into this from the team? Good. Thank you, Councillor Kozak.
So I just have a query on the roads asset management. I notice there's a big deviation in what we're currently spending and what's going to be needed. Are we intending to put more money into the budget to repair roads because people are getting a bit sick of roads not being repaired? Thank you.
Yep. See you.
Thank you for the question. I suppose that's part of the bigger discussion, isn't it? I mean, what the asset management plans demonstrate is what we are spending in terms of maintaining our assets and what we should be spending is there is a gap. And the work that we'll do through the Audit Committee is addressing, and the Audit Committee have already indicated that they want to make recommendations back to full council about how we might address that gap. Clearly, we've got choices to make in it, $100+ million budget, but it's going to need, some time to have a plan around how we address that. We're well aware of it. It's no different from any other local government.
Thank you. Any further questions on the asset management plans? Councillor Cassett?
Yeah, just again, I'm having trouble downloading the appendices. In terms of priorities, I'm just wondering if there's some sort of policy where we have an asset management plan and presumably scheduled items. Then from time to time we have requests, for extraordinary items, how we should manage those. We've had some recently as well. So I'm just wondering how we would deal with those, and we would be setting back other items that maybe other people have been waiting for as well.
Here, look, obviously,
We have some sort of policy how we deal with extraordinary items that we haven't scheduled for.
sure, I mean, that's up to council to have a policy on that. As
Yep.
you're aware, that's a policy position that, not might necessarily have, and council can make any discretionary decisions they want. I think what's important with these are the plans to indicate the data. The report indicates these will be guiding documents to then put together what that financial plan and guiding assets would be. So I'm assuming the next body of work would be starting to unpick some of that and where it would go. But CEO, do you have anything further to add to that regard?
Thanks, Mayor. I mean, as elected members would know, this is a large body of work that's been going on for some time, and what we've now got is probably, the best data that we've had in terms of the city's assets and including their condition assessments and, what's required, what will be required over the next 10 years to adequately maintain those. So it's understanding that's all this body of work is doing. Then the bit that I think the Audit Committee are keen to work on is how do we close that gap in terms of priorities. We prioritise stuff every year. That's part of the budget process. There's things that we know that we need to do that are recommended through these plans, but there's also requests for additional assets. As you can see from the data, we've got a problem with our existing assets, never mind, adding new assets. So there's always that prioritisation that takes part as part of the budget process that elected members are involved in.
Thank you, CEO. Any further questions? All good. Thank you. Item 10.3.1, which is some information items on the minutes of those groups. Is there any questions on any of those? All good. Thank you. 10.3.2, our favourites, exemption of rates request. Any questions on this?
If I can just ask, Mayor.
Councillor?
So this is funded through state and federal funding. So is there no charge to people that actually go to the facility? So it's non-for-profit?
It would be a not-for-profit under that. It would be a not-for-profit. That's why they'd be eligible to apply for a rate exemption. Being a not-for-profit doesn't necessarily mean you don't charge those. I'm not sure what their model is. CEO, are you aware of that at all?
Thanks, Mayor. I'm not aware of their financial model. As you've just indicated, as a not-for-profit organisation, they do meet the requirements for a rate exemption, but I'm not aware, unless the manager of finance has any of that info around what their funding model and their charging model is.
Through the Mayor, through the financial analysis of GP Down South, we found out that just under 82% of their revenues from government grants. And the rest is from donations and bequests, and then there's a small amount for goods and services and investments. So predominantly they are a grant-funded organisation.
So
Thank you.
probably don't charge very much, and I would suggest Councillor Turner, the answer to that. Further questions on this? Thank you. 10.3.3 is the draft City of Bunbury Amendment Waste Local Law. Is there any questions on this? Thank you. 10.3.4, draft repeal of local law. Is there any questions on this? Councillor Ramesh?
Mr. Mayor, can we just have a bit more expansion on what exactly it means? I tried to read through it, just couldn't make head or tail of that.
Sia?
Thank you. I might pass that to the Acting Manager of Governance and to respond to that.
Acting Manager, here's your chance to shine.
So a repeal local law is the advertising devices local law is no longer required because that's been picked up by the planning scheme and another planning policy. And so we put through a repeal and we create a local law called the repeal local law, which will then take that away.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask again, in simple terms, what does it all mean to us, common man?
Through the CEO, we've got a simplified answer.
Thank you. I'll ask the manager, the Acting Manager of Governance to respond.
We're removing the advertising devices local law, which means it's being taken out. It won't, and we no longer exist.
It's no longer applicable because there's another law that overrides it.
I'm still confused. So if I'm putting a signage on there, what does it mean to me?
So if you were currently to apply for a sign, what would you're suggesting? Would it fall under this law or be picked up in the new legislation? Is what you're asking, or what would this mean? What change would this have if you were currently putting a sign at the front of your business? I'm suggesting no change. That's why it's already picked up in the new thing. But I'll ask the CEO to confirm that.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I think in simple terms, there's a mechanism to deal with that in the planning application process. So this is repealing a local law that's no longer required. Thank you.
That's why you're in that job.
Repealing.
Okay, all good. Thank you. Further questions? Thank you. 10.3.5 we'll deal with next week. We do need some voting delegates for Walga. Is anyone interested to be that voting delegate? We'll call for that next week. But if anyone wants to put their hand up, might be a very easy race. Anybody want to be a voting delegate at Walga? Councillor Gass is putting his hand up, so there's potentially one. I think you're going to be a fair chance to get a crack there, Councillor Gass. We do need two, so give us some thought. I'll call for those nominations again next week for that. Look, obviously Walga, no idea what they plan, but clearly their AGM has some decision making. So some items don't get the majority they need. So it's pretty important that if you are going to be a voting delegate, that you can be there for that particular point of view. Because if something needs an absolute majority or a special majority, we do need to be voting on that. So give that some thought. Most of us attended, well, those who were there last year all attended the AGM last year anyway. So not much you got to do as a voting delegate, other than press a button, yes or no. Thanks, Councillor Turner. Cool. We'll deal with that next week. Okay. And I suppose, we don't need to at that stage as well, but if previously we have asked if there's any motions from the city, but that might be something that councillors may determine as well leading up to that, which are deliberated on at that AGM. Item 10.3.6, the public art works there, the two pieces of public art. Is there any questions on this? There's been some briefing notes circulated around this in the last couple of weeks. Councillor Kozisek?
I understand why these two pieces need to be deaccessioned, but and I think we have dealt with this, but are we putting in place processes that give us more understanding of the longevity of artworks of this nature, especially when they're made of timber, and, you know, what their lifespan is, you know, what's our expectancy of how long we need to look after them, etc. And I'm pretty sure we did do some work on that before. Thank you.
Thank you. CEO?
Thank you, and thanks, Councillor Kostek, for the question. There's probably, I'll just make a couple of points. When we have the budget discussion next week, there is a discussion around including the word maintenance in the art reserve that we do have, so that we can properly maintain all the piece of work, and we've been through that with some of them. I know Karen and the team have done a significant amount of work in terms of our understanding some of the condition assessments and the work that we're doing, but I'll pass over to the Director of Corporate and Community to add something further.
Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. Through the Mayor, yes, Councillor Kozisek's correct. We did bring to Council, can't remember how long ago, a framework/plan on how we will be managing this going forward. We also, in the budget that will be coming to you next week, have planned for an officer, public art officer. And we are hoping by having that officer to do the rounds regularly, maintaining the assets as and when they see deterioration, for us to have our hands on that much better. Because at the moment we've been relying on a person from Perth to come in ad hoc and look at these for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions on this item? Very good. Thank you. That does bring us to a close. As I just indicated, just a couple of times, there's been the comments around the meeting for next week, for the budget next week. So that is now back to Tuesday, is it? It's in my calendar now as Tuesday, not the Monday. It is. Yep. So initially that was potentially going to be Monday, providing what this meeting, how long this particular meeting would be going for, but that is going to be Tuesday, and next Tuesday at 6:30 for special council meeting to adopt the budget. So elected members, the budget, that agenda will be out tomorrow.
Yep.
So obviously that's the opportunity. There's no briefing prior to that, but if anyone has any questions for that leading up to it, feel free to get them in. But those budget papers will be out tomorrow, and that'll be 6:30 next week after this OCM. Thank you all for attending. I'll declare this briefing session closed. Thank you.
Thank you.